your fascination destroys our generation. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. Looking for inspiration in my life. Looking for inspiration all the time. Looking for, looking for, looking for, looking for. Hey!
Alrighty, folks, we're gonna try this again. So, but yeah, Super Mario Dinosaurs. As far as what you're trying to mention, I don't think. Yeah, there's no mod or any kind of, like Racer James already pointed out. There's nothing to change that. I don't know why would you want to do that. I guess that's the other thing. I tend to wonder what the reason behind wanting to do that. I always felt the way the standings are, I guess, as far as in the game, are pretty sufficient. Yeah, we did make some adjustments to our Glen Club here so far, so I'm just going to kind of summarize what we've already done. We're adding to this piece that we already previously had made. So there are some things that we want to apply fresh and new to this thing based on what I think this goes back as far as 2014, if I'm not mistaken there, Racer James. So it's been a little while since this original piece here was created. And the fact that even considering back then, I guess as far as when this was created, it's a pretty solid piece. I wanted the standings to update, like how efficiently it does on the TV broadcast. Oh, real time, gotcha. Yeah, as far as real time, no idea. The only thing that I do know a little bit about, I don't know a ton about, is if you, some of the broadcasters do have real-time data. You have to run a server for that. So it's not really, it is game related, but you have to run that on a server to where all the cars that are in there, and it's usually only human drivers, it's not necessarily AI, that it'll do that for. That's just the, kind of the little bit that I do know about that. I don't remember what it was called 100%, but yeah, that would be like if you were running like a league race, and it would take the data, the telemetry and all that stuff coming out of the game and do it that way. But as far as to have that work for AI, I have no clue. I haven't had any reason to do that. So I kind of get what you mean now, I guess. Yeah, so F2 is about the only thing for that. But I think if you wanted to put that, somewhere else as far as how it updates, like on the broadcast, yeah. So if you wanted to take that same information, like in the F2, and apply it somewhere else, like in a replay, yeah. I guess I kind of see what you mean. Yeah, I don't remember what the name of that was. There's some broadcasters that I do remember back in the day, I guess, as far as they used to deal with that kind of stuff, but beyond that, I have no idea. Oh, you gotta keep busy. Oh, you gotta make something. Okay, no problem, George. You could cheese it by using another player, any other PC. Yeah, and that's what it would involve too. That's like I say, you would have to run that on a server. Kind of like a separate PC or a dedicated server, I guess, as far as to pull that information there to be able to put that as an overlay, I guess, on your playthrough. Yeah. What in the world is that? Oh, you're lurking. Heavens, lurk. Appreciate the lurk. We do have the lurk command in here too. There you go. I was like, that is a weird emote, but I guess I get you now. What is that from anyway? Got the cat eyes, I guess, as far as under the. Yeah, I had to take a closer look there. You want big what? Big what? Played the rooster. Yeah, get everybody woke up. Definitely, for sure. I appreciate everybody sticking around, I guess, as far as for the restart of this deal, though. Yeah, we are updating this model, I guess, as far as built. And again, I think it was around 2014. So we're just updating it a little bit based on new information. So this is the current configuration of this Glen Club. It's over at Watkins Glen. We're currently working on this area. I'm probably going to wait until we get some more information about this backside. So this is the front side. Back side is face away from the track. Once we can get some more information about how this is done, then I'll probably work on that a little bit more. So probably take a couple streams and get this entire model, I guess, completely worked out. Cops are after me. What do you mean fish? Are you going fishing? I see you doing some fishing. Nice. Hopefully you got a good day for that. It's not, Alright, cool. Hope you got a good day for fishing. Yeah, the temperature definitely went down quite a bit, I guess, as far as from the last couple of days. The wee woos, right? Anywho, so this is what we're doing here, folks. I guess as far as just to kind of summarize everything that we're doing. I know I'm kind of like all over the place now, trying to get everybody up to speed that is coming in new, that was already here, just to kind of summarize what we've been working on. This is this Glen Club. This is the current layout of it, and we're getting it updated based on a previous model that was already created. And so what I did was I added to this end already. I got that hidden. Let's bring that out. We called it new deck. So this is the new piece. We haven't textured it yet, so it's going to look kind of funky. We're going to get that all squared away. It's 97, but I haven't went in a week. Ah. Can you get that line wet? There you go. Hey, however it works out for you. Yeah, I wish we could be a little bit more help, I guess, as far as with the doing the leaderboard type of thing. But that's about the only thing I can, you know, kind of give any information about. It would have to be done like Racer James even mentions first, Cheese It, where you could take that information off another PC and somehow relay that to where you want it on your other PC. You know, in a replay. Yeah. Other than that, I have no idea. Yeah, so something that wouldn't be cool, I guess, as far as, you know, I think of all this, is be able to have it to where that information could be shown, that F2 information could be shown like on a video screen. You know, to have that in an animated piece and have that real-time data, that would be super cool. But that would probably be a stretch. That would be a stretch. Okay, so we're going to rehide this again, just to kind of how they've shown everybody. So what we're trying to do now is get this kind of cleaned up here. So what I did notice, this is what I wanted to confirm. So this poly, this is some of the things that need to get cleaned up with it, is going all the way to the bottom. So a lot of this is not being visible, right? So what we could probably do, and it's going to screw up the way this is mapped here, but we can fix that. So what I would want to do is actually take this poly here, probably detach it, and then bring it up to this level, and then so it coincides, I guess, as far as with this panel. Yeah. Because we don't need all this poly behind here, because you don't see any of that. The only reason why that was probably kept that length in the first place was just to maintain the way that's textured. And we can do that in a different way than this. That's probably one thing we can fix. So what I'll do with that selected, we'll detach. What do I want to name this? I want to name this as, I'll just do front cobble. And again, just to create some clarity in our items list is all. Front cobble. Yeah, so get that detached. And it'll make sense here in a second what I want to do here. Stretch. Yeah, I already got my stretch on, I guess, as far as when I had to restart. So thanks. Appreciate the stretch. I have to be going back and forth between the Twitch chat and the chat bot, because it doesn't show everything in there, fortunately. Alright, so with that detached, we're going to go ahead and get that selected, and we're going to set the pivot that spot. Alright. And now what I'll do, by setting that pivot, I'll be able to set this the Z, I guess, as far as to this level right there. All right, so let's go here. So right now we need to get this. So we can do this in one of two ways, as I've mentioned several times. We can snap it to this level, or we can grab the Z of this part of the model. I think I'll go that route. We'll grab this Z coordinate, which is 0, which is perfect. We need to get this vert though, my bad. I need to copy that value and bring it to their piece to be detached, which is our front cobble. Grab that vert, it's already detached, so it's good to go. So I'll do that, bring this up, paste that value into there. So that's going to bring it up to this level. Now from down here, it's going to make a little bit of sense of what I'm trying to do. There's no need to have that poly behind that because you're not going to see that. Now it does screw up, I guess, as far as the way that's mapped, but we can fix that based on UV mapping. That's not really an issue. Okay, so grab this vert, do the same thing. Cool. Alright, so now we got that cleaned up right there so far. So it's kind of using a poly that was already there, but also kind of taking some of that poly weight away. I'm squishing it down. So now we got this at that level, and we'll be able to edit that mapping as far as to match what we got going here. And we already got this to be able to line it up with. So we'll be able to, when we remap this here, we'll be able to line it up with what's going on here, but it's only going to be from here to here instead of from here all the way down to here. It's the only difference. Okay, so that's something we'll be able to fix later on. What else do we need to do? I can probably go ahead and reattach that front cobble back to that. Let's do that. Let's do Glen Club. Select that one first because that's what we want our model to be renamed. What we want it named as. So select it that way. Grab our hammer. Flap selected. Now it's back to Glen Club since I did select that first. Want to re-affect the pivot. This should be still centered. Cool. Let me do that again just to make sure. Alright. Then we want to also reset the X form. Now we didn't really change anything other than where that how high that poly was. So I always get in the habit, anytime that I do edits like that to that, I always get in the habit of resetting the rigid body, just to make sure, the X form I should say, not rigid body. It does kind of keep everything, so as you work on it, get into the habit at some point or whatever to reset that X form to make sure your model is staying true to itself and not getting out of whack. That's all that really does, because you will find out pretty quick, I guess, as far as if you forget to do it, when you export out that pass file to make it into a 3DO, and nothing's going to line up. Everything's going to be shifted or out of whack. So that's what that'll fix as far as with that X form. So that's set right there. This is the shape that we should have for our entire model. Nothing's out of whack, so these corners are nice and straight with our actual model. Yep. So it's going to go to the far extent of the model. So the fact that these stairs are out here and it's nice and straight, so this corner's not way out here or way inside or anything like that. That's what we're kind of looking for. So that all looks good. All right, and then we're going to reconvert this back to an editable poly. Cool. Now we're back to this point. Now we can work with it a little bit more. So what else do we need to do? Let's bring back that new deck. Here we go. Cool beans. So the other thing we need to do is pretty much the same thing that we did on this side. As far as to bring that up to that level, we can do that same way. So I was kind of thinking either to cut that. That's another method that you could do to maintain that mapping. You could cut it from one. Now that we got it at this level, now we got something to use on this side, right? And then it'll also give us a means to determine how that UV mapping is done for this, so we can line it up with what needs to be remapped over here. So that was definitely not a bad choice. I guess so what I'm going to try and do, instead of taking and detaching this, which you could totally do, and do the same thing as we did on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. That'll retain the mapping. Go from here to there, and we can always adjust that where it is on this end, because there's nothing to snap to other than this edge. We'll be able to set that to the same level as this based on just grabbing that Z. So It'll make sense here in a second. So let's go back into this part of the model. It is an editable poly. We'll go cut. And what I want to do is do an edge snap. Actually, I can probably put it on both edge and vert snap. And we want to start it. Let's see if we can zoom in. I want to zoom in too far because I want to get to this edge. We want to get right there and cut it all the way across to here. Like, oh, might go all the way through. Try that again. You want to make sure you've got, when you're doing this, one of your edges is designed, so that edge that's yellow right here, that's what I want it. And then also you've got that more precise cursor, I guess, as far as the cursor is lined up with the yellow box. That's what you want. You want to go from here, snap it to this edge. It should turn green, actually. I gotta go a little bit past it. I'll do. Now it's gonna be crooked. Still didn't cut. Let's try it from this way then. It did turn green. I don't know why it's not cutting though. Hold on a second. Making a liar out of me. It's not turning green. I don't know why. I got it on edge snap. Kidding me? What's going on? Why are you not cutting? Okay. Work through this. Why it does not want to, so it should be able to do like that. Have it on cut. Try that again. That should usually turn green. I don't know why it's not turning green. It says highlighting. Oh my goodness. Killing me, Smalls. Why that's not working? Try just vert snap. Take the edge snap off. Should work in theory. Let's try it from this way. Yeah, let's do just a vert snap. Oh, this is really frustrating me. Why is that not cutting? Cut it. I don't know why that's not working. I don't know if it's going to be because it shouldn't have to detach that. I don't know why it's being stubborn like that. Anywho, I think the approach I'm going to take is just like I did in the front. We'll go ahead and grab this poly. How's our video doing? Video's doing alright. Been on it this way. Yep, just a good bit. Whoop, we should add some ads that already played. 8 minutes ago. I kind of missed that mark. My bad. Sorry, folks. Alright, so I think I'm going to take the same approach that I did on this one here. I don't know why it's not letting me cut that. What it should allow me to do is actually grab it by this vert and drag it over here and just cut that on that edge and create that line there. Why it's not letting me do that, I don't know. Probably another way I could go about it. Yeah, let me try it this way. Shouldn't have to do it this way, but what the heck. Let's detach these two. And I'm just going to leave that as object. And then we'll go ahead and check the pivot there, center on that. Cool. We're going to make it work. Alright, now with this side. Yeah, that's the one I want. So now I should be able to go cut. And we'll put our vert edge snaps. And this over here. Hopefully this should let me do it this time. Oh, still not letting me do it. You dirty rascal. So it turns green. What's going on with that? Huh. Alright, let's go from this way. That is super strange. I don't know why it's not letting me cut that. There it goes. Yeah, so the fact that it turned green on this end, there, that should have cut that. Now I'll be able to straighten that up on this end based on where it cut there. So it should have vert snap because I had the vert snap there. That should have cut it based on that vert location right here. So I'll be able to grab this Z and line that up and make it nice straight all the way across. That's what I was trying to get it to do. The fact that it wasn't doing that was kind of weird to me. All right, let's go ahead and turn the snaps off. And we'll go into this vert right there and grab that Z. Like so. And then set that to the same, to make a nice straight line through here anyway. Like that. Cool. Now you saw that UV kind of shift a little bit, and that's fine. That's only because it's got the two separate. It's basically just taking that same poly and just shifting it. Again, a lot of this is going to be corrected anyway. So the fact that it only shifted as much as it did, it's not going to be. So that retained a lot of the mapping in comparison to what we did on this edge. But that'll give us an idea going back into the UV mapping later as far as how this is mapped. Because what we want to do now is be able to remove this part of the poly. We don't need this part right here anymore. Whoops, that's an element, my bad. Poly. Should be able to delete this now. We don't need that. That's all I was trying to do. So we'll be able to do the same thing over here. Just take this poly out. That's not going to be visible anymore. So now if we bring back our newly added piece, our new deck, see how this looks now. Now you see what, so all this under here, I guess as far as that, we don't need that poly under there. So we retain the mapping here, just have it here. So there's two different methods, I guess, as far as to be able to get it, the poly on that part of the, underneath the railing, is as far as in compliance with your new design. So there you go. Who's messaging me? Rage Damn is here sending me a video. I don't know if that's a, did you redo that video? I'm not gonna keep the Discord on, just out of fear, I guess, as far as that it's gonna step on the video again. It seems to use a lot of Discord tends to use a lot of resources, I guess, as far as when I'm trying to do this on stream. So if it does happen to be, I guess, as far as new video, I guess, as far as for AO, we'll get into that in another stream. My main focus right here is just to get the model in compliance, what it needs to be prior to applying any shading. So, all right, I think we're in pretty good shape so far. I'm liking how this is turning out. So next thing we need to do is we need to add a opening over here for a stairway to come down to this part of the deck, and we can see that right here, but to get confirmation where that's at, I'm gonna look at my ground plane. Let's look at my ground plane. Let's do that. Yeah, bring in my ground plane. All right. And let's see here. Yeah, we can go ahead and hide this guy again. Now, if we go completely top down, we can kind of see where that stairwell is right here. Okay. So, I need to make an opening. Let me make a box just to kind of... I'll just make a box for now just to kind of pinpoint, I guess, as far as where this stairwell is going on to this part of the deck. Let's do this. Let's go. Create box. So it's just going to be a temporary thing here, just to let me know where that's at. Okay. Now that we know where it's at, we got an idea of where we need to remove from the railing. So it looks like, well, it's right in the middle. What the heck? Alright, let me see how this is in here. A lot of this mapping here might end up having to get redone anyway. I was trying to retain as much of this as possible. I was kind of hoping it was going to land right in between here. So it looks like it's going to be right where a post goes. And that's kind of what seems to be going on this part here. So if you see, there would be a post right here. So as far as the spacing of it, okay, no problem. So I think what we should be able to do is make a Boolean cutter out of this deal, so we can accomplish that. So now that we know roughly where this is at, I'm going to adjust this a tad. So, let me see here. Probably made it a little bit bigger than it needs to be, as far as the size of the box. If nothing else, what I can do is just take the stairwell. I can detach that, clone it, bring it over here, and then I'll kind of know what that size of that opening needs to be. But I'll probably use a similar deal like this as a cutter. Yeah, something so simple, piece like that. So I'll be able to make this the size of that stairwell and make that into a cutter. Right, so for now, we're going to pull this out of the way. We got an idea of what we want to do here, at least, anyway. That's the whole point. So we want to go back into this part of the model. I'm going to basically detach this, one of these here, doesn't matter which. That's the size of our stairwell we need it to be. So let's go. Grab that, that. These should be double-sided too. Make sure we get it all. So we got 3 polygons, so we don't have it all. Hold on a second. Hold down a second. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polys. I'm not mistaken here, because we got, these are double-sided rails. See if I can do it this way. Oh, grabbing too much here. Oh crap, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. There's gotta be a way I can do this. Let's go side on. May have to do the spray paint. Yep, method there. Hold on a second. We'll get this. Oh crap. Didn't have anything selected. There we go. Alright, let's try it this way. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to use my spray can this way. I don't want to move it. Let me get out of the, let's do it this way. There we go. Now we got all 5 polys selected. So that's another way to do it instead of just the marquee select. So we got 5 polys, which sounds about right. So we'll have 1 for the stairs, 4 for the railings. So they're double-sided. In fact, I've got 5 polys selected. That should be all of it. Go ahead and detach that, and we'll do this as stair. Yeah, we'll just do the stair. And again, just to maintain some clarity in our items list as far as what is what. So like this piece here, I had detached. What is that again? That should be that there. No, that's actually what I detached there. Okay. Yep. So again, this is why I like to sometimes rename them in here so I know what I'm dealing with in here. So this box is obviously that. That object is what we detached on this side here. So, all right, we're good. So we detached this stair. I need to set the pivot on this for that. Cool. Now from here, I don't want to move this one, right? I want to clone this. Keep that one right in the same spot. What I do want to do is clone it. And I want to do it as a copy because we don't want to do anything to the one that we're cloning from. That's the difference between instance and copy. That's a little bit of a refresher as far as what the difference between copy and instance is. We'll do this as stair 2. So if we do it as instance, hold on. Did I do that right? Probably not. Yeah, if we do it as copy, it's going to make it its own copy. If we do it as instance, anything that you change on one is going to affect the other one as well. Okay. Now we are on stair 2. We got that selected. Now I want to move this guy over to here. I'm going to 90-degree angle snap this way. How are we doing on video? We're doing good. So far, so good. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much running about the same as it was prior to the video freezing last time. So I don't know what the deal was there. Good thing it is staying solid though. All right, so I got the angle snap on. We're gonna angle snap this 90 degrees this way, so that we can Fly it over to here. Planes. Now, just got to move into position over here. Now, this is going to give us the size that we need this to be in that spot. So all I did was just move this on the X. Move it back over to here. And then use this guy to line us up where we need it to go. So I think it is going to be about this. I might have made this box a little too big. That's the only other confirmation I wanted it to have. So let's go top down. And line this stair. And we're also going to use this stair in this spot once we open that up on the railing. It's going to become useful in more than one way. Yeah, definitely need to change the size of my box. And we're going to end up using that as a boolean cutter. Okay. The only reason why I brought the stair over here is to get the size of that stair. Or what I need to make my box, at least anyway. So, we're good to go. Already got it the same level. Now I can adjust the size of my box. Let's go ahead and affect that pivot. Center that up. I can also probably make this right into minimal poly at this point. Now I could do this a couple different ways, but I think what'll be the best for this, get it that same size. Having these both centered, right, as I just did on the pivot, I could rescale this box to kind of get it somewhat lined up there, but to get it as perfect as possible, like as far as the size of the stair, I'm going to convert this to animal poly, right, and then go into this one here, and I can get some vertex coordinates, I guess as far as for these, the Y on these, for example. Let's do that. We'll go vertex, grab this Y coordinate, and then go into here. Now that we've got this converted to an edible poly, this is one way to do it anyway. It's not the absolute only way. I forgot I still got it on. Yeah, let's do it that way. That's fine. So I'm going to grab all this side, paste that Y value. That's going to line it up the same as the size of that stair. We'll do that for the other side as well. This way there's no guesswork in trying to rescale it to get it close to the size it needs to be. Wow, that's a colorful slot. Agreed. Hanging in there, James? Yeah, I'll be checking out that that video link, I guess, as far as you posted to me. I guess as far as we'll probably be using that, I'm sure, I guess, as far as in another segment here, Spline Design Studios Saturday. All right, so we need to go. What do I need to, yep, I need to get this Y. Copy that value. Okay, then go into our box. Grab all these verts. I still got it on the paint deal there, so instead of the marquee selection. In between streams, the video. What do you mean in between? Is that what was missed in between? Is that what you mean? Alright, so we copied that value, so we just need to paste that to our box. There we go. So now we got it the right size that way. So I think also what I'll do is adjust the bottom of this box. You know what? I'm going to go back to marquee select. Yeah. Back to this one here so we can drag select all these here. 4 vertices, cool. Bring that up this way. And bring this down this way. So all we're doing at this point is making this a cutter to comply, I guess, as far as with our stair. We only want to cut through where that railing is. Okay, so let's get the railing out of the way here, stairs out of the way for now. Hide that. And let's work on our box here now. Now we got the position, it's right over that pole, and it's to the size that we need it to be. Just need to cut a opening into this railing is all. Oh, watch that link after the video. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Sure, there's probably some clarification that you were trying to make, I guess, as far as with what we've been discussing for this model, but just in an effort, I guess, to keep the stream moving. Yeah, the fact that the only reason why I had to restart for Friday, for anybody that did tune in for Friday, was it got super windy here, and I had to restart that way. So the fact that I had to restart because of a video freeze, it's like, huh? I still don't quite understand why that happened. So yeah, even as I'm working on this, I'm monitoring this as far as the system here, and it's running the way it should be, just like it was prior to that video freeze. So 100% sure what was going on. But I did keep the uptime going, so the fact that you're only noticing probably about, less time, and that's on the uptime, that's how long that we streamed it prior to the video freezing and me having to restart. So it's going to be offset on the uptime there in comparison to the actual stream, what you're noticing the uptime here. So for example, if you were to put uptime in here, it's not going to be the same. You can do that just for 30. So if you do this uptime, it's obviously not going to be the same. We got about an hour's worth or so, I guess, as far as of time that's not going to be. That's why I'm kind of just also bullet pointing and summarizing what was missed prior to having to restart. Okay, so what I want to do is move this guy up here. So I only want to cut through the railing. Probably just above the cobblestone. Oh, that did mess that up, didn't it? Yeah, we're going to be redoing this UV mapping anyway, so... Okay. That did mess that up. Only on the part that I detached here. So it's fine above, where the railing is, so I can probably... I'm going to have to detach that anyway, just to make sure I'm only cutting through the railing. Okay, do that. I don't want to mess this up any further than it already is. That's our object one. So this is going to be cobble side. I'm going to rename this. Yep, we'll do this as cobble side. Yeah, and again, just to create some clarity in our items list here. What I'll do is I'll hide that. That's already detached. We're not going to mess with that. I already screwed up the mapping when I did shift that to line up that cut. So we'll fix that with UV mapping. We're going to have to redo that anyway, as far as on this side and that. But it will give us a better idea with this one here in comparison to that front side as to what the... It'll make sense as far as when I get the UV mapping. Let's just put it that way. Alright, so let's hide this guy. And we only want to deal with this railing. So there we go. This will help, I guess, as far as when we use our cutter, it's not going to cut through that piece that I got hidden. It's only going to cut through the bottom edge of that railing. And I'm going to make it a little bit further past the railing. We don't want to go right up to the railing. We want to make sure it cleans clean through it. So as to create any virtual burrs, if you will. We don't want it to do that. So we're going to keep this a little bit longer, but maybe not quite this long. Bring it up just a little bit more. Like that, and then bring these down. We could definitely keep all that length if we wanted to, but just to kind of clean it up. So this is where our opening is going to be, right there. We can also shrink it down this way too. Quite that big. And I'm going to remove some sides off of this to kind of make it like a cookie cutter. We'll remove that. That's probably about all we need to remove, actually. Okay, let's remove our ground plane. Let's kind of hide that, get out of the way here for a second so we can get some clarity. There we go. Now, this will create our cutter. Like so, there's our cutter. Now, we could go so far, I guess, as far as to remove this side too. It's probably not a big deal. So, the only thing we want to retain is actually what we want to cut with. So, kind of like a cookie cutter, if you will. All we're trying to do. So what this is going to do, cut right through our railing. So what I kind of don't want to do, I might go ahead and detach this part of the railing, so I don't want to cut into the floor, right? You only want to cut into the railing. So probably in an effort, I guess, as far as to eliminate that happening, I can either detach the railing so that it's a separate piece, or the floor as far as this decking here. And I think I might just go ahead with the deck. let's do that. So we'll go and highlight the deck. So on Glen Club, Polygon. Oh, cool. We can actually just select this piece here, detach it. That'll work out even better. Attach. We'll create this as, we'll call this just deck. This is not the new deck. This is the original deck. Oh, and then we'll go ahead and pivot, center that. Now we can hide it and get it out of the way so we don't cut into that. With that hidden there, all it's going to cut through is just that railing, right where that post is at. And that coincides with what's going on these railings here too, is where that opening for the stairs is right on a post. Now we'll have to remap that part there, because as far as to get posts to go on each side of that stair, but we'll get to that. That's all part of that re-UV map. Okay. Now we're pretty much ready, I guess, as far as to go ahead and cut that opening into the railing. So the order of operations, I guess, for this is you want to choose the piece that you're cutting. In this case, it's going to be the railing right there. And then to be able to choose as your operand B the piece you're cutting with. Right? So while that piece that we want to cut is selected, we'll go into, there's a couple different ways you can go. You can go through your rollout on your whoops, my bad. You can go through this method here as far as to find Boolean there. I like to go through modifiers, or create compound Boolean. There's our Boolean, and we want to set some things up here. So our piece that we're wanting to cut is still selected. Go to cut, refine, then our operand B is going to be our actual cutter, which is this box right here. Pick operand B and choose that, and that should have made a cut through there. Now if we're satisfied with that, how it cut, we can remove the Boolean here. So you can see the cuts right there and right there on either side of that post. Perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead, remove the Boolean like that. So it's still going to show this in here as a Boolean. So if we're satisfied with that, I'm going to reconvert this back to an editable poly. And now we can take out those polys that we just cut. It should be double-sided too, so go. There's our opening. Yep, so I had 2 polys to remove because it is a double-sided railing. Lanes. There it is on both sides of that. So now if we bring in our stairs, unhide those. So that's going to be stairs 2. And we can actually put this into position now. And one way we can do this, we can set our pivot, say to this spot right there. Okay. We're going to actually do a vert snap. While the effect pivot is on, snap it right down. And with the, so all I did was just turn the effect pivot only off. Now I'm still going to snap this right there. That's exactly where we want it to be. Now the only thing we're missing is to have post on here, and we'll be able to adjust the mapping for that to make that more compliant. But as it is right now, that doesn't look half bad. And once we adjust that mapping, it's as far as for that to have more of the post showing on this side of the stair, that should be good to go. Okay, let's turn that off. So we got our opening in there now. Sweet, moving right along. So we're still maintaining the focus, just adding what's going on with this part of the Glen Club. Now let's go ahead and bring back our deck, our new deck. We can see how this is kind of turning out now. Let's bring back our cobble side, which will still need to be remapped. I'm gonna fill that in there. You can see how this is looking now. Granted, it's still looking a little bit funky because this is not mapped yet, but once we get all that remapped there, that's gonna look fabulous. Totally fabulous. I'm still trying to figure out with the way the texture is on this thing, how we're going to be able to get that tent. That's still something I'm keeping in there. I don't know how much room or how much real estate on the texture we're going to need to get this tent in there. That's going to be a little tricky, I feel. But the fact that there's already going to be transparency in it, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue to make the underside where the poles are, to make that transparent, because we already got plenty of transparency between the railings and even the glass going on with this model. So as far as texture goes, here's the texture that we're working with here, and I do have the current wire before it is adjusted. Obviously a lot of this is going to change so that we can more accommodate, I guess, as far as the use of AO bake, for example. So we do have a lot of overlapping parts here. So if we were to kind of condense this a little bit, separate the parts out so we can potentially apply some AO bake, that's another part of redoing this model that we want to focus on. Alright, so you can see kind of where everything is at. We borrowed some things here for the Turn 1 Pavilion for the lacrosse. There's the ceiling for the inside. There's the floor for the inside. So you can, the cobblestone for the side we've been working with there, and you can see how that's all laid out. We got our transparent windows that makes the openings, that'll create the openings, I guess, as far as for that glass to show through. As it stands right now as a separate model, we're going to make it all one model. One model. So one of the places that it's not being used so far is this area, as far as the wire mapping. So we might have some room in here to put the tent, and so either down here or over here, and maybe a combination of both. So we got at least a couple areas to be able to utilize in the texture, I guess, as far as to put that tent in there. Okay, so with the tent, not really sure how high the tent is on it, so we'd have to use like common sizes for party tents, you know, to kind of get an idea, because again, we don't really have a view, I guess, as far as it kind of gives us an idea of how high the peak is on this. I definitely don't feel it's going to be higher than this this railing for sure, but how much higher, and definitely lower than this peak. That's the only two conclusions I can make with the peak of this tent. So I like most of the party tents that I know of anyway, they have like about a 10-foot peak. Some are 12. So that's the other kind of standard practices that you would apply, I guess, as far as for doing this type of thing. So just keeping everything in check here, because as far as we do know, it's higher than this rail, lower than this peak, and then using what we know, I guess, about most party tents tend to be either a 10 or 12-foot peak. So that's kind of what we can utilize here, I guess, as far as for creating that. Let's see here. All right, video's still good. Awesome. Okay, so let's see what we can do. We'll bring back our ground plane and probably hide our new deck here for now, so we can focus on making this tent. The other cool thing about this tent, we can actually create that as a separate mesh within this entire model to have it only show during certain sessions. This is something else that we've shown on the stream, even going back to the Turn 1 Pavilion, be able to have it show in different states during different race sessions. So this is something we'll be able to do as we build this these new additions to this model. All right, so let's get our ground plane back. We'll hide this new deck for now. Now we can focus. Now we don't have the, that was this thing I wasn't sure of. We don't have the actual tent in the sat image, but we can kind of get an idea of how big it is based on the picture. It definitely doesn't go to the full extent of the whole deck, so it doesn't use up the whole deck, right? So we do know that, so we can kind of use that. So if we want to follow, I guess, as far as the way most party tents are of that size, if we want to say, I almost need to, yeah, let's do this. Got an idea. So we know how big our deck is. I'm going to create a ruler here. Yeah, let's do that. I got an idea. So we didn't kind of have to do that because we have the SAT image to be able to create our deck, but we did not really get a size off that, right? We just kind of complied it with what we already had based on what's in the SAT image. So I think what we can do is to get a true measurement of what this is here, that'll give us an idea of what size our tent needs to be, and kind of comply it with what we know what the size of party tents are in reality. Okay, so let's do I want to create a box or a plane. I think I want to do a plane. Yeah. As a ruler. That's all we're going to use it for, is just as a ruler. So I'll go like this. And I can use these grid markers to kind of give me an idea. Oh, let's do it. Let's take out some of these segments here. We don't need that. We only need one seg, high and wide. Go. We'll go like this. Looks good. Now what I'll be able to do is actually stand this up. Now that I've got the size of our actual deck. It's good. Let's go ahead and set. Let's go ahead and convert that to metal poly. There we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Crap. I goofed it. I'll back this up there. So what I want is, the reason why I'm doing this is I want the width of this thing. So even without standing it up there, we know it's about 20.5 meters wide. So now we can kind of use, I'm almost afraid to open up another browser, but we're going to try this. Hopefully it doesn't step on anything. Seems to be fine, but I need a browser. Let's go ahead and do this. Crossing our fingers. Alright, so we need meters to feet. So for some of you too, I guess as far as something I thought about that was in the start of the previous stream before it got stepped on. Some might have been considering this as far, or anticipating, I should say, the release of. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. The release of the Texas build by Torch. That has been confirmed. Oh, I did bring it over here. Okay, cool. There we go. We're going to try and get that out by next week. Put it that way. So it should be on the Spline site by next week. Alright, cool. I don't know why that wasn't snapping. There we go. That's better. So let me check my... Yep, I did ramp it up a little bit, but it's not terrible. Okay, cool. Making sure. Yeah, so I'm being very cautious, I guess, as far as what I'm opening and whatever, so that it doesn't potentially freeze the stream again. I think we're in good shape, though. Alright, so what we need to do, based on what we measured there, so we're just going to say roughly 20.5, and that comes to 67 foot, a little over 67 feet. Alright, so let's think about this for a second. Size of party tents. I don't know of any of them that are 60 foot. Let's put it that way. So if we look at our picture, we can see it's more to this railing, and there's plenty of opening on this side, from this perspective at least anyway. So I'm willing to bet this is probably about a 40 foot. This might be like about a 40 foot deep. Then we'll get the other measurement going this way. So if it's 67 foot this way, it's probably about 30 foot or so this way. We'll get that measurement too. So we're going to say roughly 40 foot deep that this tent is. That seems pretty logical, I guess, as far as for a party tent. I've seen them that big. Alright, so we need to go into max here and get this measurement going that way. And I think what I'll do, whoops, zoom on that. Boom. I'm just going to make a new plane. How about that? I can use this one here if I wanted to. So we know it's 20 that way. If I wanted to just increase it this way, and do that too. Let's just do that. Talk myself into it. Well, all we're trying to do now is get this measurement going this way. How many meters is that? Well, it's looking like that's roughly, we're going to say about 11 and a half. Yeah, so I went a little bit over there, so I'm going to say about 11 and a half. Yep, 11 and a half meters, that is. Okay, so if we plug that in, put the 11 and a half this way, so it's, yeah, about half the distance. That was what I was thinking, as far as from the one way to the other way. So 11 and a half. That ends up being 37 feet, roughly 38. All right, so if we go again, by our picture. We got a little bit of gap here. I guess as far as that's, I don't know how much. Let's see what we got here. Go back to here. So if we actually make this, I'm ahead of the, I'll give us a better reading. Let's adjust it so that this edge is in front of that staircase. Yeah, let's do that. A little bit more. A bit more. So that way we know kind of more how wide this is going to be, because basically, well, from what we can tell here, that this tent here is almost right up with the edge of that fence. The edge of the stairs is actually almost level with the side of the tent, maybe about a foot or so. So if we get a little bit of room here, like that, so about something like that. So the edge of the tent would actually be right there, but we're not totally on this edge. So let's go ahead and fit it this way. We can kind of play with this to get the width of the tent. So we want it off the railing, but also away from the stairs, so a little bit higher. So at this point, we're kind of really determining what the size of that tent is this way. And from what I got here, about 9.5 meters. Okay. And that equates to, put 9.5 in here. That equates to roughly 30 foot. So we'll say a 30 by 40 tent. Now, if we look at it from this way, I'm almost thinking this might be more of a 25 by 40. I know I have seen them that size. So if we were to consider this tent was a 25 by 40, probably pretty decent. We'll start off with that. We can always adjust our size of it if we need to. 25 by 40, I think, is what I'm going to go. I know I've seen tents that size. Let's just see what we got here. Alright, so this ruler, we'll just put this on the side for now. Let's make a box. It ends up being, we'll do 9.5 by, what did I say? Let's go ahead and size this ruler up to the size of the tent. Let's just do that. Talk myself into that too. So instead of actually figuring out the size of the deck, let's just figure out the size of the tent. So with this way, we want it to be, what did we say? I forgot now. 11 and a half, 20 and a half. That's the full length. We want it to be 40 foot. That's what we wanted. So we can change it here. We actually change it to 40 foot. We need it basically 12 meters. We'll make this 12 meters this way. To see how this looks, just using a simple plane. And by 9, let's do 9.5. We'll round that bad boy off. That's not right. What did I figure wrong? That's definitely not right. Oh. Hold on. Let me go back to my 40 feet. Okay, so maybe it's not 40 feet. 60 feet. Let's try 50 feet. That's 15.25. See what that looks like. Something like that. So you shift it back this way. We're getting a little bit closer to where I think where it needs to be. And we don't know 100% how much space that we've got over here, because it's kind of on an angle. That could definitely be about the size. So we got the railing right over here.